Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome into this weekend edition. Well, it's early on in the weekend. It's Friday here on the D2L Western Challenge. We've got Cloud9 taking on Team Liquid in our lone best of three of the day. It's been mostly single best of threes up to this point, but looking ahead to next week, the schedule gets packed, and we'll review that with you looking ahead towards the end of the broadcast. Joining me for this broadcast, though, welcome in once again, Tralf Dota for the insight and analysis. And Tralf, I think this is a deceptively interesting series. I mean, Team Liquid, when you look at their performance lately, obviously they've been struggling, but with Demon standing in regularly for them now, and obviously ever since Fluffgate or Bloggate, or there's a million different terms for it, ever since all of that, a lot of question marks around Team Liquid, but they passed the eyeball test. Like, even though their record doesn't exactly look all that great, just watching how they play now, you can see they're moving in a positive direction. Then you have Cloud9, who early on here in this month, they have been, they've been basically a little bit above 500 just in their last few series. But when you look at their results across the board over the last number of weeks, they're pretty much in the top of every league they're participating in. They really are one of the strongest teams going right now.
Yeah, I think it was really the best of three against EG that Liquid had. That was that really epic best of three that really put them back on the map. They have been looking kind of crazy and a little shaky before that, but that was the best of three, I think, that really got people to believe in them again, really. So they have been experimenting a little bit. TC was playing support for a little while, but he's back on the carry role, and Demon standing, I think he's pretty much the permanent stand-in so far. They tried snaking actually yesterday when, or no, I believe it was the day before, when unfortunately Demon had an emergency, but things, have been going better for them, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I don't think I could have said any better. That series against EG, they proved once again that they were worthy. That they were worthy of fans' investment. That their fans could believe in them to win any series against anyone, because they are that good. They just had to figure out some behind the scenes things. But enough about their past. Let's talk about the present. Taking a look at Cloud9's draft so far, we can see they immediately take out the Naga Siren and the Shadow Fiend, which is an interesting ban in the first phase, and one can only imagine that there's one good reason why you would ban that out this early. Then on the side of Liquid, grabbing a Lycan and a Nyx Assassin right off the bat.
Yeah, I really like Nyx Assassin in lineups where you're actually going to be pushing towers, and the reason for that is it's really easy to backstab behind people.
Right.
When you have towers pushed up, you also have lots of gold on your supports, lots of gold on your offlane, which I don't know if Nyx is going to be offlane or not. Probably he is. Nyx is also really good against Ember, and we talked about giving other teams an Ember. It's good to have some kind of hero ready to do something to him. Like, and Nyx is decent. Heroes like Lion, Rubik is good, but Nyx is definitely a good tool for that Ember Spirit, which is picked up. It wasn't banned, actually. That's kind of interesting, too.
Yep. And you're starting to see the Ember slide through a bit more. I think teams, as strong as the hero is, they're beginning to realize there definitely are answers. And we talked about that during our cast yesterday. I mean, we saw the blueprint of how to beat an Ember Spirit. You just make sure you keep the pressure up. You have some a good silence, especially if you happen to get a Doom, which Doom is still available if Liquid wanted to go that direction. But with the Lycan already out, another good answer is just to take towers. Just push and push and push. Never allow him to really sit and farm. Make him come to fights much earlier than he's willing to, whenever he's still sitting on relatively little farm. But Cloud9's ahead of the game on that. Very difficult to push into an Ancient Apparition. You can find a fight turned around on you so quickly.
Yeah, and more so than counters to Ember, because you can brainstorm actually quite a number of them. Like I said, Lion is good, Rubik is good, Nyx is actually okay. But more so than that, I think it's important that the team that picks Ember has another, we talked about this yesterday, like a tanky core, because when Navi drafted it, it was like just the Ember and a puck, and that was it. So all you had to do was go on the Ember, and then problem solved. So as long as C9 is able to draft something more in your face, a decent tanky core, then I think their draft will be fine. But push, as you mentioned, is pretty good against that, and we'll have to see if Liquid doesn't get shut down early on in the laning phase.
I really like the point you make about the Nyx Assassin, and not just why he's good against the Ember. I mean, just how well he does fit into push lineups. I mean, whenever you think push, you think clear and creep waves, you think very early tower damage, but you also think Shadow Shaman.
Push.
Yeah, just a smidge between a Lycan and a Shadow Shaman. Basically, you've got, I mean, the Shadow Shaman by himself, if you're not watching your back, he can bring your tower down from 100 to 50 just with one set of wards if he happens to catch the creeps in the right place. And you put a Shadow Shaman and a Lycan. I really like Lycan and Shadow Shaman together, by the way. I think they have great synergy because they both push really, really well. And Lycan, you know, he's one of those heroes that wants to just barrel down on you, get on top of you, stay on top of you. And Shadow Shaman with Hex and Shackles, he's pretty much the perfect support to help out a Lycan in terms of focusing down a core like an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I feel like we've been seeing some Shadow Shamans mid a lot more recently. And because he's not the strongest support in lane, and I'm really curious to see if Cloud9 wants to do something aggressive against Lycan, and maybe, you know, Liquid is expecting that, maybe want him to go mid. This is very early theory crafting because I have no idea what Liquid's going to pick next. It could be anything really at this point, but just a thought. I actually really like Shadow Shaman mid because he gets level 6 so much faster.
Well, he's one of those heroes that, like you said, he gets level 6 so much faster. He's not even super level dependent. I mean, obviously, like any hero in the game, if he's over leveled, he's going to be even more effective. But you could do some really quirky things, like start him out in mid and get him to level 6 quickly, then go collapse somewhere with the wards, and then free up mid lane to catch one of your supports up to maybe move someone out of the jungle if you wanted to do that, or just rotate your maybe your hard farmer there for a little while to let him catch up on levels if there's been too much pressure in lane. So he's one of those guys, and I think we're honestly starting to see more and more of that. It's still, you know, somewhat situational, but a lot of teams are experimenting with ways that you can start one hero in mid and rotate them out by 5 or 6 minutes in, and then just basically allow them to go do things while you play catch up with anyone else who needs it.
Yeah, that's why actually Shadow Fiend's so popular right now. We see a lot of teams do that, and actually he's getting banned out quite frequently too. He'll spam out mid. He doesn't even have to take aggression because he just doesn't need it. Like, he just spams out mid, goes to jungle, which hopefully is stacked. He hits level 5 to 7 or whatever. Yeah, support comes mid, gets 2 or 3 levels from that in the span of 5 minutes. Yeah, it's a very popular strat.
Taking a look at Liquid, yep, I was okay. Yeah, I think push. I think we can narrow it down. I don't think there's a whole lot of questioning that. And really, it's effective. I mean, it's effective in what they want to do. I mean, the Ember Spirit needs a core set of items. Usually see him get boots and then usually a set of drums or something like that just to give him a little bit of survivability and all-around utility. Then you start to work up for your Battle Furies or whatever other items you happen to want based on your team's needs. But whenever you just keep the pressure on and make him come to fights too early, yeah, he'll give you some damage. He'll be able to do some things here and there, and he can be a beast if he's positioned right. But I really like what Cloud9's done to make that even better. I mean, engaging into a Bat Rider is always a risky proposition, especially when you're talking about your primary damage dealer, at least based on what we see right now, is going to be that Lycan. So any melee hero getting lassoed out is problematic. And having the Ancient Apparition, again, who's going to be able to use Ice Blast just basically as a deterrent, either from across the map or if he shows up and wants to engage. And it also makes them very strong in lane, being able to contribute Chilling Touch too.
Yeah, and I hate using the term cheesy, I really do, but I actually feel like Liquid's lineup is a bit cheesy.
Yeah.
Simply for the fact we talk about why is Lycan so strong right now. And I think the biggest reason is that he can solo supports with his level 4 wolves. And looking at the supports right now, Ancient Apparition, Rubik, they're not tanky. Like, they're not like your Tide support or even a Nyx support for that matter. They're going to die to those wolves, not to mention if they're spot out, like in Fog, because the wolves have invisibility, you can use that Nature's Prophet ultimate. And it'll bounce back, hit them, get them to half HP, and then you can solo down those supports with the wolves. So I actually, not to mention, just look at 3 heroes out of the 4, massive push potential. So I hate using the word cheesy, but I actually feel like it's a bit cheesy. It's a very strong lineup, and we'll have to see where they pick 5th.
It's a very strong lineup, but I feel like it's ultra level dependent and ultra basically momentum based. If it's one of the. This is going to be one of those games where Cloud9 can bend so long as they don't break. So long they can buy time and allow themselves to stay even with Liquid based on what we see right now and be in a good position as the game gets later for the most part. But if they give up too many towers, they give up too much map control or too many kills, they're going to find themselves pretty much in an unwinnable situation because these heroes scale so well with levels and with gold, especially if you talk about mobility items on the Nyx and the Shadow Shaman. Those supports, as you already said, they're going to have enough problems between the Prophet ulti, between Lycan and his wolves, and having to deal with a Nyx assassin who has a blink dagger, a Shadow Shaman with a Force Staff. That might be just about all they can handle. So we're waiting on the final picks to come out. Cloud9 taking on Team Liquid here in our lone best of 3 of the day at the D2L Western Challenge. And if you're listening to my voice right now, you're either on Twitch or in client. And in client, by the way, the ticket is for sale, so make sure you check that out in the Dota 2 store. Remember, we give a whole lot of money to the teams contributing to our prize pool and making sure 6 of our 8 teams all wind up winning something. So it's going to be a Morphling last pick now.
Morph is actually pretty good against Lycan. It's very difficult, even with the haste from the ultimate from Lycan, to kind of chase the Morphling until he gets an Abyssal Blade, which is pretty late game. Now the Necro 3 is actually quite good against him, so it's kind of back and forth. I don't know if I'm totally sold on Morphling here because they have good disable from Shadow Shamans, so we'll have to see how they do it. I do know that C9 loves to run Morphling though, so this last pick for Team Liquid probably going to be a support that's a little bit more tanky. We saw the Visage ban out last from Cloud9, so they could just go full on team fight with something like a Tide. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to watch. Oh, Venomancer.
Yep.
So more AoE, I guess.
Yep, more AoE, nice slow, nice good range, but of course, even more push. And Veno is one of those heroes that could even deal with counter push potential that you might see out of something like a split pushing Morphling, being able to land and get his wards down and the such. But we're just about ready to get loaded in, and I got to double check my sound now on the Dota TV, and I'll do that as we speak. Yep, there we go. And hopefully everyone can hear me now. As, with the new ticket in, certainly want to make sure everyone can hear all that's going on. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I did not. No, I didn't. It's a graphic bug. The title was correct.
You are on your game.
Yep. I couldn't even host it on D2CL if I wanted to. But yeah, I didn't point it out because you actually can't see it on stream. And I'm sure that our in-game viewers know that this is flagged in the D2CL, but it looks like there's some kind of a graphical confusion. And for whatever reason, the graphic at the top of the pick band was D2CL. So both teams beginning to move out now. It looks like no one's going to get together and run as a pack. We are going to have a good old-fashioned defensive tri-lane. At least that's the way it looks for the moment. Demon sitting on our Shadow Shaman with way 2 on the Veno. And back in base, we've got Koikva. So probably going to end up seeing a rotation out of this, actually. I'm kind of curious to see where Koikva's going to end up going. He has taken Null Talisman. Yeah, he's getting some branches. This is going to be a mid-profit.
Yeah, Liquid's actually been doing this a lot lately.
Yep.
And he's been doing quite well with it. It's actually a very good solo mid if you're constantly harassing with the tree ants. Because they don't draw aggro. It's actually very annoying. It's not like a lone druid where it'll draw aggro if you attack them, but nope, won't draw aggro. So it's especially good against melee heroes, and that's what C9 is running. That Ember mid.
Yep, very quick pie, yes, thank you very much. Very quick pause as we're just about ready to get underway. The horn is blown, and we'll take a look. Yeah, there are, I tweeted about you, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw it. It amuses me to no end that you couldn't communicate with the people in the lobby because you're muted. I've never been muted. Like, how do you get muted, man? Like, I get angry. I do. I get pretty mad sometimes. Still never been muted.
I don't know. The trolls, man. The trolls get to me. What can I say?
All right.
It's the most annoying thing. It seems so, like, counterproductive. It's like, oh, we're going to punish you, and now you're going to have a more difficult time trying to get along with your teammates.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's always that point of no return where, you're keeping your mouth shut and, people are being jackasses and flaming and stuff. Then you just realize, okay, we've officially lost the game. Now let me tell this person how bad they are at life. But horns blown and the lanes are taking shape. Let's see who's handling who. It'll be Koikva versus Sing Sing. Sing Sing on the Ember Spirit mid against Koikva's Nature's Prophet. On the rest of Liquid, we're going to have TC farming up the Lycan as we saw. Demon standing in. I don't even know why you call him that. He's pretty much consistent now. He's playing on our Shadow Shaman. The Nyx Assassin will be taken into the off lane by Bulba, while Venomancer will be handled by Weitu. Other side of the river, going to be Pylai Dai hooking up with Eternal Envy, who's on the Morphling. Pylai Dai playing on the Rubik. It'll be the Ancient Apparition played by AUI. He's sitting right now, just kind of waiting for an opportunity to harass Bulb out. And, of course, Bone 7 on the Bat Rider out in the off lane.
Yeah, and they actually do get a lift on the Bulba, but he just hit level 2. So he has this by Carapace, so good for him. Good for him. He'll be fine. Also, another thing I didn't mention, but the Treants do get the Howl effect from Lycan. Lycan got to level 1. So those Treants actually, at level 1, were hitting for like 27 damage. Yeah, and not so just the fact that he can harass Sing Sing out, or whoever it is in mid, but you should not really miss any last hits. It's very, very easy to get both last hits and every single deny. So I haven't pulled up the chart yet. Let's see. He is 8-6. Look at that. This minute it's 143.
Yep.
9-6. 10-6.
There you go.
Very easy.
Just piling them up. And, this is something that, obviously you still see it, but it's like the efficiency of a pure defensive tri-lane like this is always a little questionable if you don't start to rotate around early. We can see that Bone 7 already did get one ward down, so he'll be able to start maybe playing a little bit more far forward. He's still not even level 2 yet, though, so at some point he'll probably want to take a shot at just dipping into the jungle and trying to get caught up a little bit. But especially on the side of Liquid, I think rotation of Venomancer and Demon is going to be very important. If they can get a kill on Sing Sing early before he hits level 6 especially, it'll be a huge deal.
Yeah, it will be good, but I think ultimately if these supports can get levels, especially the Shadow Shaman, it's going to be just even better for them. They could get levels through ganking, but it's a little bit more risky that way. So they also have a little bit of a benefit that the Venomancer and the Shadow Shaman are much more aggressive to a Bad Rider than Rubik and the Ancient Apparition are to Bulba up top. So they have a little bit of an edge right there here early on, and no stacking yet from C9 for Bone 7, so unfortunately he's going to have to do it himself.
We can see Bulba getting up close and personal with Pylai Die, but not hanging around too long. And Sing Sing right there beside. Koifa's actually going to get the real one with the Searing Chains. Has a little bit of help coming. Looks like it's going to be late, though. He is using his Flame Guard to burn him down. And, yeah, Bone 7 is hanging out. He's still just level 1, by the way, and has yet to do much of anything. Abandoning now that bottom lane entirely. Koifa sitting on just about 1,000 gold, and he actually has fallen off a little bit in CS. In the meantime, Eternal Envy has not. He is going to town right now and enjoying this free farm.
Yeah, Lycan's actually pretty close by. He also has a lot of denies, too. It's always funny when I see a ton of denies in a lane that it really doesn't matter because the bat's not even there, but, I like that. I like that. It shows lots of APM, and, oh, he actually missed a CS right there, but no big deal.
He knew you were watching, man. He's got
yeah,
stage
exactly. The pressure.
It's a very quiet game. This is almost like, this honestly feels a little bit like a pre-TI3 game. Just the way, the hero's obviously different and the general pattern of things, but just so quiet early on. Defensive tri-lanes, not a whole lot of rotations. That might change now, though, as Way2 did pick up an Invis. Koifa's taking a lot of damage in mid, though, and Sing Sing's going to be able to chase him down. Could it be First Blood? And that's problematic. Koifa playing a little too far forward, and Sing Sing actually ate a lot of damage here. Liquid has rotated Bulba down to try and catch up with him. He's going to run straight to the Ancients, yeah, and he's going to go ahead and just suicide. Not liking his chances of making it out safely, and Way2 was right on the way. So very heads-up play by Sing Sing getting First Blood and then robbing Liquid of any kind of a return. Now, though, there's a Gale on the Pylai Die, Carapace by Bulba. Good two-man impale. Let's see if they can follow it up. They will get one. AUI trying to make a run for it, but Good Sprout and Koifa with some payback very quickly. So even though the first kill on the board went the way of C9, they end up giving up quite a lot in return.
Yeah, that was really good. The Invis rune, Way2 was actually quite patient with that, so just caught C9 off guard. And I was actually going to say before that there was really good rotation from the supports of C9 to run over there and support Sing Sing, but didn't really matter because he just suicided smartly to those Ancients. So he's level 6 now too. So Sing Sing having a good start despite Furion, which I feel like should have a little bit of a better matchup here.
Taking a look at how our carries are looking. TC with a Bassi, his Ring of Regen already up, plus another 700 gold tucked away. So Vlad's not super far away if that's the direction he opts to go. And in the meantime, we see Envy making his progression quite effectively as well. He's already got up an Aquila as well as a set of treads.
Yep. Here comes the Wolves behind Owie. He's actually sitting down here and try to... Oh, an ultimate actually from the Lycan as well. Can he get this kill? He's trying to do some... I don't think he's going to get it.
No, he didn't even try.
Kind of a waste of an ultimate right there. He knew if he was diving in, if any TP came in, he would have probably either had to die or back up anyway. So, kind of a wasted opportunity there, unfortunately.
I think that's a little bit of miscommunication. One of those, all right, ready to go? Ready to go? And expecting Demon to maybe be a little further forward. Quake's going to eat a lot more damage from Sing Sing here in mid. And yeah, he's going to force him to TP home. Oh, they managed to get him. Once again, Way2 was there to land the Gale, but it didn't matter. And this is where that early game damage of an Ember Spirit comes into play. You see a mid-Ember, of course, he's always going to want to have his item progression, but he can play a very much isolate you and burn you down kind of a style. And Sing Sing doing quite a good job right now, sitting at 2-1, and that one death, of course, that's suicide.
Yeah, and this even this just one level of Flame Guard seems to be paying off. I feel like Sing Sing doesn't like to do this either. So he's adapting his play. He usually just goes, I think, 4-4, and then waits after that to get the Flame Guard. He's actually initiating on the way to. Here comes Rubik to do some damage, lifts him up after the Fey Bolt, and easy peasy kill there for C9 yet again.
Yeah.
That's just the power of Ember, man. He can initiate from so freaking far away.
Yep, and he's one of those heroes that's easy to underestimate just how quickly he can kill you, especially if you're a support. I mean, you think that if you're standing far back, yeah, he might be able to get you with the chains, but what's the likelihood that he's actually going to be able to kill you that close to your own tower? And in reality, it's pretty damn high. 3-3, all knotted up in kills, though C9 has a practical lead, as one of those killed tallied. Once again, was to no avail, as the neutrals took that kill. We can see, based on the goal graph, efficiency is very, very close. C9 does have a slight lead in experience and gold, but mostly that one kill difference is pretty much accounting for all of it.
Demon has so much farm. So much damn farm, man. He's actually almost level 6 as well. He'll get it right after this creep wave, and Lycan's down here too with level 4 wolves and his Vlad, so yeah, this is going to be an easy push.
Wards go down to secure the tower. AUI is over on the side. He is just level 4, so no ulti at his command. And yeah, they're just going to go ahead and sack this. We're going to see AUI just hang out for the moment. But the first tier 1 going to end up dropping. AUI did catch a level off of that, so he is up to level 5. And now we'll see how Liquid wants to treat this. You take down one tower, do you start just clearing tier 1s and try to pressure the map? Might be a good time for it, as Koikva did manage to get his Midas up just as they brought that tower down using that tower gold. And they may want to try to respond to Envy as well, who's already pecking away at the tier 1 top.
They really should. There's no reason not to. You have TP from Furion. You have so much gold in your supports now. And this is what I talked about. When you can get early towers down, look at now you got Arcane Boots for the Nyx Assassin, who only has 7 CS. In fact, he's got 1,300 under his belt, so that's just the power of early tower pushes. It spreads out the gold on everyone. So, yeah, really good job from Liquid early on.
Pylai Die hanging out on the ridge line just above the tier 1. And doesn't look like he's going to make anything happen wisely, as Liquid did have a number of folks hanging out near the that mid-range. Going to see Koikva start going to town on the Ancients. Now, Pylai Die might end up spawning this if he comes back down and takes a peek. Way2's hooked up with TC here in mid. TC, though, mostly being left to his own devices. We're going to see Demon, set of Arc Boots of his own, and 1,000 gold, as well as Bulba now with his own level 6, and looking to use Vendetta to try to make something happen. This could be very unfortunate for AUI. Is he going to come too far out? Oh, he shoots the Impale out of the Vendetta. Mana burns him down, but no follow-up. They actually did manage to use the Furion ultimate for a little bit of help, but in the meantime, Way2's in trouble up in the top lane. There's nice play from Envy as he replicates just to get a little bit closer. Did have help from Bone and Pylai Die. So even though Liquid took a shot at the Ancient Apparition at AUI, he manages to make it away, and Cloud9 in the meantime tallies another kill and a tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's
And the wards are going to go down once again.
Oh, sorry. My mic was muted.
Yep, I know. It's all right.
Yeah.
Tier 2.
I was just saying that was a good trade for C9. And
here we go.
Here we go. A ulti flying out.
Boom. Going to catch Demon. Demon should shatter from this. I'm pretty sure he will. It's going to be close. Yep, now they got him. And Bulba's in rough shape as well. Bulba and TC, they managed to survive the shatter damage. TC might turn around. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and go for this. They do manage to get the Searing Chains off. And Sing Sing is playing really, really efficiently. That's the only way I know how to say it. Like, a lot of times you'll see even really good Ember Spirit players try to do too much. Sing Sing really isn't. He's just coming in, doing what damage he can, waiting for his cooldowns, and getting the job done elsewhere. But speaking of elsewhere, Bone7 finds another kill here in mid. So just like that, Cloud9 beginning to blow open this early game.
Yeah, and I think that was the surprise blink coming out from Bone7. Koikfo just had really no idea. And yeah, Sing Sing's doing a really good job. It's very easy in that situation to just be like, oh, the tower's going down, let's split push or look for a different kill. But he's responding to all these pushes, which is hard to do against roster wards and, like in Venus Farm as he is with the Wolves. So Sing Sing, this hero just fits his playstyle perfectly. We were talking about that yesterday with Dendy. It's a hero that has a player that's very active. So Sing Sing just plays it very, very well.
Here comes Bulba. Under cover of Vendetta, going to try to take a run at Envy. Yep, he's going to wait for him away and evades the Vendetta just in time. So nice play to keep himself alive. And Envy's becoming a bit of a problem. I mean, TC is off to a great start. Both of them are. I mean, you're talking just 15 shy of 100 CS. at less than 12 minutes into this game. So they are both farming like all hell. But you're going to have an unbelievably fast Lincoln's coming out on this Morphling. Then he's going to be so free to do what he's going to do. In the meantime, when you talk about the way a Lycan tends to translate, you know what you're going to get with a Lycan. I mean, you know, it's... I feel like a farmed Lycan and a farmed Morphling, all things considered, the Lycan's going to be the more immediate problem, and right here's why. As Quakefoot comes in, tries to trap it. Look at the damage. TC does manage to track it down. Actually, Quakefoot got that kill. Now, in the meantime, we're going to have Bone 7 getting the lasso off on Quakefoot. He'll die in the Firefly damage, and they will get the return. Here comes Sing Sing once again, cleaning up Bulba from behind. TC has to just keep running. In the meantime, here in mid, AUI is going to be picked off by Wei2 and Demon. As the wards went down, Sing Sing's not done. He's trying to catch up. Tried to use Sleight of Fist, but unable to find TC, who actually juked him back. Sing Sing's going to go ahead and teleport elsewhere now. And in mid, it looks like this tower does have a chance of surviving. They don't have a glyph, but if Pylite die, nope, it's gone.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's, at any rate, another big exchange, all going the way of Cloud9. And on the back of that, we can see the graph actually did turn around because of that mid play, being able to pick off the Ancient Apparition and bring the tower down. Looks like Trouth is having a headset problem or two, so I'll wait to hear back from him as he sorts out his technical issue. Once again, thanks to him for remoting in to the broadcast all the way from sunny South Korea. I have no idea if it's sunny there. Don't know what the weather's like in Korea. Never been there. Blink Dagger is up on the Shadow Shaman in the meantime, and this is what we were talking about during the draft. But Cloud9 rotating through under cover of smoke. They're going to end up running into TC. The Wolves obviously will not break that. Down goes the ward, and because of night, they're not going to be able to see him. So no idea how close they were to being able to get a very big kill. But getting up that first mobility item on the Shadow Shaman, I feel like is a big step in the right direction for Team Liquid. They need those items up on Bulba and on Demon in particular. And it does sound like his headset is freaking out because I don't know if it keeps flipping itself on or off or what. But for the moment, both teams just kind of taking their time and trying to carve this map up a little bit. We see Bone 7, speaking of mobility items, is getting closer and closer to his own 4 staff. And Eternal Envy, very, very close to getting his Lincoln Zone now. Has 25, almost 2,600 gold tucked away to go with his Perseverance. And TC, in the meantime, already has his Vlads up, has picked up his Staff of Wizardry.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
There we go. Hopefully
Radiant's top tower.
he saw that. And off of that, bringing down the tier 2. Liquid feeling very strong at the moment. They are trailing in kills, but the game's still very close in pretty much every metric. In fact, Liquid has opened up a gold lead. The experience, though, in favor of Cloud9. This is just a quick Roshan with that medallion, with all the damage they're going to have. Let's see what Pylite Die managed to get. He actually got Lycan's ultimate, so not too bad. But now TC has up his Necro Book and has up the Aegis as well. So they're going to be able to reset and move in whatever direction they want. But all this time, again, Eternal Envy just continuing to farm away. And we see the courier moving out. Yep, there's the Lincoln's recipe, and he'll be able to finish his Lincoln's momentarily. Now, there's going to come a point where all of this farming is going to just catch up with him. I mean, Lycan, as good as the hero is, especially with the build he's gone with the Necro Book and the Vlads, Necro Book's always amazing, but the Vlads in particular, that's a very mid-game oriented item, even on a hero like a Lycan. So, the fact that you've got Envy in such amazing shape, I mean, he's got an Aquila Treads plus the Lincoln Sphere up, sub 20 minutes. I mean, that's going to be so hard for TC to try to keep pace with. Bulba, in the meantime, still looking for a blink of his own. If he was wanting a 4-staff, would have built it already. So this is really where Liquid has to get work done and make sure they're on point. AA Ultimate does connect, but only caught the Lycan. And the rest of Cloud9 not in position. Now, this is where the phrase that I used during the draft really comes into play. It's got to be bend but not break. Losing your tier 1s is bending. Losing all of your tier 2s, that's breaking. And Cloud9, they can try to trade all they want. They just need to make sure they don't completely give up map control, because Liquid will abuse that to no end, especially, again, with the mobility items coming out. Demon with his Blink Dagger, he will be going straight for a Scepter after that. And their push power is just gigantic. They'll be able to split push to no end if Cloud9 doesn't get a counterpunch in at some point soon. We can already see Tier 1 top is gone. Now Tier 2 top is gone. One Tier 2 remains. Very important one, though, the one in mid. And yeah, like at this point, Liquid could try to just push this out. Koikva's got his Shadow Blade up. Bit of an old school build. Don't see Shadow Blade quite as often as you used to. And they're going to smoke immediately. I love the way that Liquid is playing right now. This is just such a more aggressive and confident way for them to play. And I have a feeling it's going to end up defining their style from here on, especially if they continue to have Demon as a part of their team. And I can hear Trouf in the background.
Yeah.
Is everything fixed? All right. Welcome back, my friend. Back in time just to see all the towers melt for C9 and 2 Blink Daggers out on the side of Liquid.
Yeah, you were just cutting out. I don't know if it's a headset thing or Skype. Probably
Could have been
Skype.
Skype, yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, what the hell happened, man? There were towers there, now they're all gone.
Long and the short of it is, Eternal Envy has farmed like hell. It is 18 minutes in. He has Treads, Aquila, Lincolns, and 1,000 gold tucked away. And while he's been farming, his team's been trying to hold the line. But for the most part, they picked off a few more kills. But as soon as this team hooked up, as soon as they were ready, we saw them take the Tier 2 bottom, then we saw them collapse down the Roche. They got a quick Aegis, and now they're just taking tower after tower after tower. We're going to have Demon showing off the Blink Pile Die, immediately shackled right amidst those wards. And with the Rubik down, this is looking very bad for Cloud9, to be honest. There's going to be an AA ultimate, and Bone7 going to lasso one back, or try to anyway, but caught out by TC trying to pursue him. Sing Sing has to leap away. And they may just continue to push here. They've got 2 down. The Bat did spin the lasso. Rubik's still down. And even though the Morphling should be feeling pretty strong, he can't deal with this all on his own. Still with me? All right. Buyback coming out of Bone7.
Yes.
And they're going to be able to keep the rack standing, at least for the moment. But in the meantime, the tower does end up dropping. Are you having audio issues again, my friend? Gotta guess that's a yes. That's unfortunate. But, yeah, Liquid tallying a couple of kills, and we could see that they took this game. Basically, they took control of it, and this is what Trouf and I were talking about during the draft. I mean, when you looked at what C9 had, this is basically the exact game plan they wanted to execute. I mean, Sing Sing is not in terrible shape. He's got his Perseverance up towards his first Battle Fury, depending on if he wanted to get more than one anyway. Towards his Battle Fury, probably the way I should say that. Has up phase and drums, and he had a really good early game. I mean, you take a look at the KD, he's 5-1, so he certainly had his impact on the map everywhere. But the rest of his team has not been able to really stay on his pace. I mean, Envy has farmed, does have a Ghost Scepter up, and that's going to help immensely against the Lycan in particular. I mean, going a shotgun build as a Morphling is always going to be viable, but when you can do it against a hero like a Lycan, who especially at this stage is going to be trying to focus you down and corral you, it helps tremendously. We do see the Orchid come out from Koikva. I actually love this choice, bringing out the Orchid just to silence out either the Ember Spirit or the Morphling, both of which are very elusive in what they do, and it just helps out with damage output as well. And they're just keeping the pressure up, man. Now rotating around. They basically made one big circle. And behind that, we see Koikva is going to get lassoed after bringing down the Ancient Apparition. However, he has got some help from Bulba. Here comes Eternal Envy, ready to try and bring them down as well. Pile Die will die behind the fight. Koikva still up, but not for long. Down he goes. Venomancer pops the ultimate while Bone7 looks to get to safety on the edge of the map. Demon is still up there as well. Will land the Ether Shock, and they're able to track down a couple more kills. So even though Cloud9 did counter-initiate and do a decent job of it, and they did get Koikva, the reprisal coming out from Liquid just way too strong. And now, again, no towers standing outside of their own Tier 3s. They've already lost Tier 3 mid, and it looks like Liquid is ready to push down Tier 3 bottom. The Aegis is still active on TC. We can see he's still got a little bit of time on it. Actually, not that much. But, yeah, actually just expired. Was there for a moment, but Aegis or not, they're in a great position with Bone7 still down. That's their primary way of trying to deal with the Lycan in particular. And now that Envy does have up his Lincolns, he becomes even more of a problem. But looks like, yeah, they're just going to go ahead and take what they can get. They're going to do some damage to the Tier 3. E-Blade is done on Envy now. Now that he has the E-Blade, he's going to have the ability to blow up these glass cannon heroes. So he's going to have the ability to blow up Quake Fight. He's going to have the ability to blow up the Shadow Shaman. Shadow Shaman is tanking up a little bit, though, because he does have, once he finishes his Scepter, which honestly is going to be a minute or two at most, as he's already got more than 3/4 of it complete. TC does have level 3 book, and he's just going to flat buy a BKB. Now, BKB, an extremely important item in terms of what they're going to want to do to deal with C9. Obviously, Lasso goes through BKB for C9, so they still have a way to try to deal with him. But their right-click as of right now, I mean, it's not super impressive. So having the BKB up, they're relying a lot right now on Sing Sing and what he can do in AoE and in terms of what Ember Spirit could do in terms of burn damage, Sleight of Fist, so on and so forth. But they really are very reliant on magic damage coming out from the E-Blade, coming out from the Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition, coming out from the even Bat Rider's Firefly damage. So negating that for the Lycan, just allowing him to get up front and personal. And, of course, we haven't even talked about, really, how difficult it is as a Bat to try and do much of anything whenever you have a Nyx Assassin who can just pop his Carapace. And if you're in the air, if you're using Firefly, you're kind of screwed. It's 11-10, Team Liquid, and C9 going blow for blow. But Liquid right now just translating the blows that they're landing so much more. It's kind of feels like, you know, an old school boxing match where you'll have two fighters going at it, and one is throwing at the head as much as they can, but it's bouncing off the shoulders, bouncing off, you know, the upper forehead and so on. Then you've got one fighter who's just working the body. And right now, that's Liquid. They've just worked the body, and they're wearing C9 down. Just look at how they have to stay. They know that if they try to come out on a map that is this dark, and you can see their vision is abysmal. They have one ward right here. This, they know for a fact that's not going to be a problem. This is not a problem area of the map if you happen to be C9. It's all of this, and especially down in here. Two optimum engagement angles if they show themselves in mid, and they just have to stay as 5. Otherwise, they will get punished, especially when you have the Blink initiation that they know they're going to have to deal with. And Bulb even has up a Force Staff now on top of the Blink. And, yeah, there's a Scepter done for Demon. So he's sitting on 1,200 health, which isn't bad. They're going to try to get a catch on TC. Forces the BKB out. Can they bring him down in time? Yes, they are able to bring down Bulba. Way 2 gets off the ultimate. Here comes TC charging back out. We're going to see Envy replicate himself to safety. Bone 7 in the meantime trying to track down Demon from behind. Demon got the wards down, but Demon's going to end up dying to Sing Sing in front of the fight. TC trying to chase him down. Now we're going to see Sing Sing using the Remnant to get to safety. But at the end of the day, it's a 2-for-1 exchange. However, they're in a great position to now push this Tier 3 top. Highlight dive very low. Envy ready to come back out and join the fight. It looks like they are going to back off. And this is probably the right call for them. They did an excellent job of forcing C9 back and getting what damage they could, but they gave up a lot for it. And unfortunately, even though that's a win for C9, make no mistake, all they really absorbed there was a 1-for-2 exchange and a little bit of damage on the Tier 3 tower. And they also know for now, at least for a minute or two, that they can do what Sing Sing's doing right now. Get out here by himself. They know Liquid's gone back to heal, gone back to regroup and reset. But they still can't continue to trade like that forever. If Liquid can just do half a Tier 3 damage, Tier 3's damage worth to each tower for the next 2 or 3 engagements, that's going to be enough because they'll get a racks down, then they can start to play a turtle game. Or they'll force C9 to play a turtle game. It looks like C9 has no interest in doing that as they're moving down to the Roche pit. 1,700 gold up on Lycan. We'll see what he wants to get next. Basher, very good option for him. Just one more way to lock these heroes down. They're going to catch this out. Wolf spotted out. And they're going to move in. Beautiful impale. Caught 3. And now we're going to see Bone 7 brought down immediately. Envy's still going to work, but he's going to be forced to waveform out. TC catches AUI. And the rest of Liquid there to help mop up the mess. 3-0. Roshan drops as well. And another Aegis for TC. Now that's going to be 30 seconds down for all 3 of those heroes for C9. Looking at buyback status. AUI does not have it. Rubik does not have it. And Bone 7 does not have it. Those 3 heroes are down for the full duration. Already have a Naked Rax here, and already have a half-beaten Tier 3 at top. This could be 2 sets of racks if they hurry. They're going to get at least that. Let's see how much they want to commit to it. Demon is caught by the searing chains at bottom as he seemed to rotate down. Yep, they're going to go ahead and go for it. No reason not to do this. Sell the hell out. Sing Sing gets a kill on Shadow Shaman at bottom, but it's not going to matter. They've already lost one set of racks. Down goes to tier 3. A ultimate will connect. And we see Pylai Die actually manage to steal the Wolves. There's going to be a telekinesis. They do manage to get the racks in the meantime. Bone 7's there to follow up on Koikva. Sing Sing coming out, catches TC with the searing chains, and they will be able to burst the Aegis down off of him. But the damage is already done. And I think this was a calculated risk from Liquid, but I like it. I think it's one they were justified in taking. Because they didn't just get a ranged racks in that top lane, they got the melee racks. And look at the tier 3 as well at bottom. Virtually naked. So at this point, C9 finally beginning to show their power as we transition slowly from the early to the mid game now. That's not even the early game, certainly not, but into the later stages of the mid game, I should say. But it might be too little too late. They're going to have a huge deficit to overcome, and this is where the power of Team Liquid's draft in terms of closing games out comes into play. Just the Nature's Prophet ultimate alone makes it so hard for C9 to fight out of this position. I mean, just Nature's Prophet as a hero makes it so hard for them to fight out of this position. Because what do? If you decide to push out and try to take a fight and try to push racks of your own, you have to push out 2 lanes. You have to dedicate 5 to 1, because as of right now, you have to have all 5 together to really make this work. Whereas they could just send Koikva elsewhere. They could send Necro Creeps elsewhere. They could send Treants elsewhere and push those lanes right back in. And you find yourself in an all-or-nothing position pretty much as soon as you leave your own base. And Liquid has to be feeling pretty good about their chances. 12,000 gold ahead. And again, just the presence of a Prophet and a Necro Book 3 Lycan, making it quite a task for Cloud9 to take any kind of a turnaround here. We're going to see Envy with that haste rune moving into the Radiant side jungle, looking for a target, hoping to find something squishy he can blow to pieces with that F-Blade. Won't be the case, though, as he waveforms back to safety. Now, this is a tough question. I mean, there does come a point, if the game goes long enough, the Morphling will get 6 slaughtered and will just be an unbelievable monster. But Koikva's farming really quite well, too. I mean, you take a look at the overall net worth, you can see the Nature's Prophet and the Lycan sit atop. On top of Eternal Envy. And, of course, that's owed in large part due to towers and just overall more efficiency as the game began to break down from the laning phase. But, you know, it's one thing to have to outfarm 1, but you really have to outfarm 2, especially when it's a Koikva, Nature's Prophet. The guy is so good, just so good at the heroes he plays. And here we go. He's going to move in. Bulba's there, pops the Lincolns. Demon right there to try to follow up, but the waveform disjointing what they hoped would be a combo. We can see Koikva is split pushing at top. That forces Envy back there. And we're going to see Bone 7 trying to get Bulba, but Bulba helped out by the Hex. And now will they counter-initiate? A ultimate caught a couple. They will manage to blow up the Venomancer behind it. Above that, though, we see the tier 3 did drop, and now TC thought about going to work. He looks like he could have bursted down. Envy, perhaps. They will not be able to get that range racks. Yep, they're going to deny it. Don't blame him. The Wolves were there, and with a Nature's Prophet on that team, there's no way they're going to keep that up. So as of right now, I mean, you can see at top, blank, and 1. They are 1 melee racks away from being mega'd. And Koikva, I love the choice of a BKB here on the Nature's Prophet. Not the most common item, but you do see it. And we're seeing a lot of pinging around. And again, the vision right now is just utterly abysmal on the side of Cloud9. They've got 1 ward out, and it's right there. Yeah, I was going to say, someone might want to get that gem. That's 900 gold. As I draw like I have a deficiency. But it's really, at this, I honestly don't even know how you even try to go about this. Because even if you lose a fight at this point, Liquid could just bank buybacks for eternity. They're going to have a gigantic farm and vision advantage. They can take away the jungle. They can run as 5. And they can force C9 into these desperate situations. And so long as 1 or 2 heroes have buyback, especially as Koikva transitions to what I can only imagine will be a more pure right-click damage build, wouldn't surprise me at all to see him go something like a Desolator eventually. Scythe of Ice also works. He already has up the Orchid, so Orchid Scythe, just giving him more and more options in terms of how to lock these heroes down. It's going to be a BKB up on Demon. I'll tell you right now, when I first started playing Dota, one of the things I hated the most to play against was an overfarmed Shadow Shaman that got up a blink and a BKB. Because what in the hell do you do to him? It's like, yeah, he might be kind of squishy, but still, he BKBs, he runs in, and he just locks down 2/5 of your team that quickly. You can't stun him out of it. And it just means everyone has to focus fire him, and that alone is worth it. Bulba spotted out as the gem being put to good use. We're going to have that. Oh, look at Envy. Eyes bigger than his stomach. Demon right there to help him out. That is a huge, huge kill. Envy does not have buyback. That's it. There's no way. Yep. They call it immediately. Envy got greedy. Maybe a moment of frustration. But with him down and only one rack standing between them and Mega, Team Liquid manages to come into a series where they were undoubtedly the underdogs and give a black eye to Cloud9. 34 kills in a 32-minute game. And as Trouf said, maybe it's a little bit of a cheesy strat, but you know what? Sometimes cheese works. And I think it did this game. And to tell you the truth, I don't even think you can call it cheesy. I mean, yes, it's very... I mean, in Dota, what is cheese, really, unless you're just flat out, like, building a team around, like, a known bug or something. Like, to me, that's what it takes for something to be considered actually cheesy, is to build a team around, like, a known and unresolved bug. This is just a one-dimensional team that had one thing it was going to be really, really good at, and it was executed extremely well. And I really don't think you can blame a team like Liquid, especially a team that's trying to find kind of their new identity. And really, they're looking quite good with the addition of Demon. I'm really impressed with the way they played here today, as most people have been with their play lately, even when they've lost. If there's such a thing, they have lost pretty. Standout performers, of course, DC on Like at 6-1-5, finished up at 669 overall GPM. On the side of Cloud9, 5-1 and 6-1. That's a collective 11-2 performance out of Eternal Envy and Sing Sing. How often are you ever going to get to say that? Between the two of them, Eternal Envy and Sing Sing both went 11-2, and they lost in a 32-minute game. That's a very odd situation. You're just not going to see that most times. Hell, for most teams, if you're one and your two position players have that good of a game, it's rare that you're going to see them come out not just losing, but losing in a game that only lasted 32 minutes. Game one in the books, and Liquid one win away from upsetting Cloud9. Cloud9, though, they're going to try to force their way back into this. And our second game coming up next. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I'm live back here in our studio in San Francisco. I actually flew home from LA this morning, so I am very tired. If I got the Charlie eyes, if you watched Reported the other morning, you saw Charlie had some tired eyes. He was a tuckered little cubby, and I'm kind of that way too. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the show, and we'll try to get Trouf back, obviously. Solo guys, it kind of sucks, and certainly love his insight and analysis. And I'm just good at yelling at microphones, is what I do. So hopefully we get both halves of the tandem back on. Once again, Team Liquid and Cloud9 here in today's lone best of 3 on the D2L Western Challenge. We'll be resuming that series in just a moment. Stick with us. We'll be right back.